Act as if you are the best. No one is better than you. There is a truth that most people never fully confront. You are not less than anyone. Not in potential, not in worth, not in ability. Yet somewhere along the line, life, comparison, and doubt convinced you to live beneath your own power. You learned to shrink. You learned to question yourself. You learned to measure your value through the eyes of people who never understood your future. And every time you did, you stepped further away from the person you were meant to become. But today, that ends. Today, you reclaim the identity that life tried to take from you. Because confidence is not a gift, it's a decision. Presence is not inherited, it's chosen. Identity is not discovered, it's built. And the next 90 minutes you spend here are not about becoming someone new. They're about returning to the person you were always meant to be. Before fear softened you, before doubt shrank you, before the world told you to lower your voice. This audiobook is a reconstruction of your identity. Brick by brick, thought by thought, action by action. You will learn the truth that only a small percentage of people ever understand. The way you show up shapes the world's response to you, not your history, not your background, not your circumstances, your identity. If you show up small, the world shrinks you further. If you show up uncertain, the world questions your worth. But when you show up with the energy of the best, even before the results appear, the world has no choice but to adjust. Because results follow identity, success follows belief, opportunities follow presence. And this audiobook is designed to rebuild every part of the presence you lost along the way. Through 10 powerful chapters, you will learn how to rise into the version of you that life has been waiting to meet. The version that can walk into any room with authority, lead yourself with clarity, and hold standards so strong that your future begins to rearrange itself around them. You will begin by building the strongest version of yourself, the version rooted in discipline, identity, and self-trust. Without this foundation, nothing else stands. But once you have it, everything begins to align. Then, you will cut the noise that steals your focus. You will guard your mind with intention, learning how to silence doubt, comparison, and every external voice that tries to overpower your inner one. Next, you will discover how to believe in yourself even when no one else does, and you will understand why the world only supports you after you support yourself first. Chapter 1. Build the strongest version of you. Strength is not something you stumble into. Strength is something you build deliberately, one decision at a time. Most people wait for strength the way others wait for luck, as if one day they'll wake up suddenly confident, suddenly disciplined, suddenly unstoppable. But strength doesn't appear like a miracle. It appears like a structure. You build it brick by brick, habit by habit, identity by identity, and the person you will become tomorrow is shaped by the actions you choose today. You cannot act like the best while thinking like the weakest version of yourself. If your identity is rooted in past failures, old labels, or inherited insecurities, no amount of external success will make you strong. Confidence begins on the inside, long before the world ever sees evidence of it. And that is why this chapter is the foundation of everything that follows. Because without inner strength, every other skill cracks under pressure. You've been taught to measure yourself by outcomes, your wins, your losses, your performance, your achievements. But the truth is far more powerful. Outcomes don't build identity. Identity builds outcomes. A strong identity produces a strong life. A weak identity produces a fragile one. Strength begins with the decision to stop waiting and start becoming. The first place to rebuild your identity is in the beginning of your day. Your mornings are the command center of your life. Before the world speaks, before responsibilities pile up, before distractions find you, your mind is still yours. What you do in these first moments determines the tone of every decision that follows. The strongest people in the world share one thing in common. They don't negotiate their mornings. They claim them. 1 hour without your phone puts your mind back into leadership mode. One action that builds momentum: reading, moving your body, writing your goals, realigns you with who you are becoming. And 3 identity statements anchor your mindset into strength. I show up. I am enough. I lead my life. These are not motivational phrases. They are psychological anchors. They interrupt the patterns of self-doubt that used to control you. They shift your nervous system into readiness. They remind you that you are responsible for your state, not your circumstances. Your morning is not just a routine. Your morning is an identity ritual. But strength isn't just about rituals. It's about rewriting the internal story of who you are. If your inner voice is still shaped by old criticism, old mistakes, or old versions of yourself, you will sabotage your new life with outdated beliefs. You must begin speaking to yourself like someone who is building greatness, not someone who is barely surviving. When you catch yourself saying, "I can't," challenge it. When you hear, "I'm not good enough," replace it. When your mind brings up past failures, answer with your present intention. This is not delusion. This is discipline. Mental discipline. Identity discipline. Strength becomes real the moment you stop letting your emotions lead and start letting your standards lead instead. Standards are the spine of your identity. They tell your mind what is acceptable, what is non-negotiable, what is beneath you, and what your future demands from you. A strong identity refuses to shrink to fit weak habits. Your standards become your silent language, how you speak to yourself, how you take care of your body, how you set boundaries, how you manage your attention, how you execute your commitments. And when your standards rise, your decisions automatically rise with them. You cannot build a strong life with weak standards. Now, strength isn't intensity. Strength is consistency. Anyone can be disciplined for a day. Anyone can be motivated for a week. But the strongest version of you is built by the days where nothing seems exciting, where progress feels slow, where the work is repetitive. Consistency doesn't look glamorous, but it builds a foundation that can't be shaken. There is a reason elite performers rely on identity-based habits. Identity outlasts motivation. Identity outlasts mood. Identity outlasts fear. If you want to build the strongest version of yourself, don't ask, "What do I feel like doing today?" Ask, "What action aligns with the person I'm becoming?" That single question can change the trajectory of your life. Because identity is not something you wait for. Identity is something you choose. But becoming strong also means confronting the weaker parts of yourself with honesty. You must acknowledge when you've been undisciplined. You must recognize when you've made excuses. You must see the moments where comfort won the battle over growth. Not to shame yourself, but to understand yourself. Self-awareness builds self-correction. Self-correction builds self-trust. Self-trust builds strength. And strength builds the life you want. Strength is a choice. Your choice. Every day. When you decide to show up differently, your life changes. When you decide to elevate your standards, your results change. When you decide to lead your mind instead of letting it lead you, everything changes. You will notice the shift first, in your thoughts, in your posture, in your decisions. Then the world will notice, in how you speak, how you move, how you carry yourself. Strength radiates. It becomes unmistakable. People feel it before you say a word. And that brings us to the most important truth of this chapter. When you grow strong inside, the noise outside loses its power over you. The world becomes less intimidating. People's opinions become less controlling. Setbacks become less discouraging. Fear becomes less convincing. Because a strong identity does not break under pressure. A strong identity grows under pressure. You're not building muscles. You're building a mindset. You're building a character. You're building an identity that can carry the success you want. And now that your foundation is rising, you are ready for the next chapter, where you learn how to protect it. Because the strongest mind in the world means nothing if you let the world invade it. Chapter 2. Silence the noise. Guard your mind. The strongest version of you cannot rise in a mind filled with noise. Your mind is the battlefield where your future is either won or lost. Every day, you wake up carrying a mind that wants to grow, yet you place it in environments full of voices that shrink it. You scroll, you compare, you absorb opinions that don't belong to your identity. You listen to people who have no idea what your future demands. And before your day even begins, your confidence has already taken its first hit. Noise doesn't just distract you. Noise distorts you. Noise disconnects you from the voice that matters most, your own. Most people think their problem is lack of discipline, lack of clarity, or lack of consistency. But the deeper issue is this. Their mind is so crowded with the voices of the world that they can no longer hear the direction of their own potential. You cannot build a strong life inside a noisy head. Silencing the noise is not a luxury. It is survival. Guarding your mind is not optional. It is essential. Your attention is not free. It is your most expensive currency. Where your attention goes, your identity grows. Where your attention goes, your confidence grows. Where your attention goes, your future goes. The wrong input destroys the right identity, and the right input destroys the wrong identity. This is why you must reclaim your mind with intention. Because confidence is not built by repeating affirmations. It's built by removing contamination. Mental pollution makes strong people act small. It makes capable people hesitate. It makes brilliant people question themselves. And nothing kills potential faster than a mind that doubts itself. Think about how quickly your state changes when you scroll through the lives of others. Comparison pulls you into insecurity. Criticism pulls you into defense. Random content pulls your mind into chaos. The more noise you consume, the less power you hold. You're not overwhelmed because you're weak. You're overwhelmed because you're overstimulated. Silencing the noise begins with the courage to unplug, not permanently, but intentionally. Your mind is not meant to process thousands of signals before breakfast. You need space. You need simplicity. You need silence. That is why the 90-minute focus block is one of the strongest tools you can adopt. During this block, every notification is off. Every app is closed. Every distraction is eliminated. This is your first act of reclaiming your power. This is where you learn how to hear yourself again. During these 90 minutes, you are no longer responding, you are creating. You are no longer comparing, you are building. You are no longer absorbing, you are choosing. Next comes your attention whitelist and blacklist. Choose 3 sources that elevate you: mentors, books, voices, philosophies. These are the voices that strengthen your identity. These are the ideas that remind you who you are becoming. Now create your blacklist. 5 sources that consistently weaken you. People who drain your energy. Platforms that steal your focus. Accounts that trigger comparison. Content that feeds anxiety. Voices that remind you of the version of you you've outgrown. When you decide what enters your mind, you decide who you become. Your attention is not a doorway. It is a fortress. Treat it like one. And then comes the most difficult task. You must remove 10 people who make you feel smaller. Not because you are better than them, but because you are building a life that requires mental clarity. Energy is contagious, and negative energy spreads the fastest. Some people love the weaker version of you because it makes them feel comfortable. When you grow, you threaten their identity. When you rise, you call out their stagnation. When you evolve, you force them to confront the truth they've been avoiding. Not everyone can walk with you into your future. and that is okay. Guarding your mind also means mastering the internal noise, the thoughts that repeat themselves when you're alone. You can turn off your phone, but if you don't turn off self-doubt, the noise continues. The greatest noise is not the world. It is the untrained inner voice that questions your worth. You must teach your mind to speak differently, to speak with leadership instead of fear, to speak with intention instead of insecurity, to speak with clarity instead of confusion. Say it, my mind is my territory, I guard it. Identity grows in silence. Confusion grows in chaos. Strength grows in discipline. Weakness grows in distraction. This is why solitude is not loneliness. Solitude is leverage. This is where ideas form. This is where confidence forms. This is where identity forms. You must learn to sit with yourself long enough to remember who you are. The paradox of Chapter 2 is simple. The world outside you becomes manageable the moment the world inside you becomes quiet. When your mind is calm, criticism loses impact. When your mind is strong, comparison loses relevance. When your mind is guarded, negativity loses access. When your mind is intentional, fear loses control. You stop reacting, you start responding, you stop absorbing, you start creating, you stop shrinking, you start rising. Now ask yourself the questions most people never dare to face. What voices have I allowed inside my head that don't belong there? What thoughts do I repeat that sabotage my potential? What noise am I addicted to that keeps me from hearing myself? Because the strongest version of you doesn't come from better information. It comes from better attention. Your attention builds your reality. Your reality builds your identity. Your identity builds your future. Say it again. My attention builds my life. The moment you believe that sentence is the moment everything changes. Silencing the noise is not about isolation. It's about liberation. It's about freeing your mind from distractions so your future can finally breathe. And once your mind is quiet, you become dangerous. You see clearly. You move intentionally. You choose powerfully. You live deliberately. Because you're no longer controlled by noise, you are guided by identity. And that identity leads directly into Chapter 3, where you learn the next truth. The world doesn't need to believe in your future, as long as you believe in it first. Chapter 3. Fight for your future. When no one believes in you, you don't need anyone else to believe in you. You only need yourself. Some of the most defining moments in life happen when you are completely alone, mentally, emotionally, strategically. No one is cheering. No one understands. No one sees your vision. And in that silence, most people quit. But the strongest people, the ones who build legacies, the ones who leave a mark, have learned to fight for their future even when no one else does. Belief is the soil in which achievement grows. If belief is weak, all else collapses. You may have resources, you may have talent, you may have opportunity, but without belief, your potential remains invisible, unrealized, and unclaimed. Self-belief is not a feeling, it is a discipline. You have experienced being underestimated. You have been overlooked. You have labored while others doubted your ability. You have delivered effort that went unrecognized. You have felt invisible, but your worth was never defined by recognition, applause, or validation. It was always defined by your action, your resilience, and your internal commitment. The world only follows those who lead themselves first. When you fight for your future, you begin with evidence, small wins, daily victories, and repeated proof that you are moving in the right direction. This is why the evidence board exists. Each day, record one action that brings you closer to your goals, one small victory you can measure, one step that strengthens your identity. These micro-actions are the fuel of self-belief. They are tangible proof that you are serious about your future. Next, create a list of 25 reasons why you must succeed. not for anyone else, not to impress the world, for yourself. Each reason should resonate with your identity, your purpose, your vision. Let it remind you why your future is non-negotiable. When doubt arises, your list becomes your anchor. Visualize your future self daily. Spend 2 minutes seeing the person you are becoming. Not a fantasy, but the version of yourself that embodies every trait you need to achieve your goals. See the posture. Hear the voice. Feel the confidence. Imagine the challenges overcome. Visualize not only success, but the discipline, courage, and decisions that create it. When you repeatedly show your mind this version, you are literally training it to respond as if that identity is already yours. The paradox is striking. People only believe after you succeed, but you must believe before anyone else does. Waiting for support is waiting for failure. Waiting for validation is surrendering agency. Waiting for motivation is giving your power away. The only power that matters is self-belief. Consistent, daily, unwavering, unshakable. To cultivate that belief, you must challenge the internal narratives that limit you. When you hear, "I'm not ready," respond, "I am becoming ready." When you hear, "I'll never achieve this," respond, "I'm learning the way forward." When the past whispers failure, respond, "My future defines me now." Every internal debate is a battle for identity. Who wins these debates determines who you will become. Resistance is inevitable. The moment you decide to fight for your future, you will encounter doubt, fear, and opposition. From others, but more importantly, from yourself. The old self will attempt to cling. Comfort will whisper. Your previous failures will speak. And you will have two choices: surrender or rise. Surrender reinforces the weaker identity. Rising strengthens the one who can accomplish anything. Remember, true self-belief is never loud. It does not need applause. It does not require recognition. It is quiet, unwavering, and deliberate. It manifests in the repeated decisions to show up, act, and move forward, even when there is no visible progress. The daily rituals of self-belief matter more than the milestones you chase. When you repeatedly choose identity over feelings, consistency over mood, and action over hesitation, your mind begins to trust you. Self-trust is the currency of power. Self-trust transforms effort into momentum. Self-trust elevates ordinary action into extraordinary growth. Do not wait for someone else to light your path. You are your own torch. Challenge yourself each day. Fight for the future when it is inconvenient. Fight when it is uncomfortable. Fight when no one notices. Fight when everything inside you screams to stop. The person who rises through this silent battle is unstoppable. The one who backs down is delayed, distracted, or defeated. And finally, internalize this mantra. Be your own believer. Repeat it when you wake. Repeat it when you sleep. Repeat it when fear rises. Repeat it in moments of isolation. Repeat it until your actions embody it, until your choices reflect it, until your mind cannot doubt it. This is the difference between potential wasted and greatness realized. Your self-belief is the foundation for every other strength you will build. It is the core that carries you into Chapter 4, where you will learn to show up with the energy, presence, and authority of someone who has already claimed their future. No one else's doubt can override your self-belief. No obstacle can stop the one who refuses to surrender. Fight for your future today. Fight when invisible. Fight when exhausted. Fight when unsure. And know that every day you choose belief over doubt, you build the strongest version of yourself. The one no circumstance, opinion, or failure can shake. Your future belongs to the person who believes in it first. Be that person. Chapter 4. Show up with the energy of the best. The strongest people don't wait to be perfect before they act. They show up like they already belong in the room of winners. Most people enter spaces apologetically. Shoulders rounded, head lowered, energy diminished. They shrink themselves to avoid judgment, to avoid confrontation, to avoid attention. And as a result, they are overlooked, underestimated, and dismissed. Presence speaks louder than words. The way you walk, the way you breathe, the way you carry your body. All of it broadcasts your identity before you ever say a word. When you shrink, people sense it. When you hesitate, people sense it. When you are confident, steady, and intentional, people follow without even realizing why. Showing up with the energy of the best is not about arrogance. It's about alignment. It's about acting from the person you are becoming, not from the fears that have controlled you. Confidence is cultivated through action, not given by circumstances. Your body is your amplifier. Stand tall, open your chest, lift your chin. Let your posture speak strength. 2 minutes of intentional positioning sends a signal to your nervous system. You belong here. Your brain registers this expanded state and shifts your internal state from uncertainty to authority. This is not pretending. It's priming. It's internal conditioning that manifests outwardly. Next, command initiative. Don't wait to be acknowledged. Say hello first. Speak first. Move first. Offer value first. Leaders do not sit back waiting for permission. They set the tone, define the pace, and control the energy of the room. When you consistently take initiative, the world adjusts to the standard you establish. Energy is contagious. Surrounding yourself with negative or passive energy diminishes your presence. Conversely, a controlled, confident, focused energy uplifts you and those around you. Be mindful of what you bring into spaces. Your presence is an extension of your identity, and it shapes the environment before you speak. Your voice is part of your energy. Speak deliberately. Speak clearly. Speak slowly. Words spoken with intention carry power, even when the content is simple. Hesitant or rushed speech undermines authority. Deliberate speech reinforces identity. People subconsciously respect those who communicate with clarity and certainty. Emotion is energy. The way you feel internally is reflected externally. Anxiety, doubt, and insecurity manifest as hesitation, fidgeting, and lowered energy. Calm, confident, and controlled internal states manifest as steady movement, measured voice, and poised presence. You must regulate your emotions, not suppress them. Channel them. Turn nervous energy into focused energy. Transform fear into preparedness. Fear of judgment is a silent killer of energy. Most people hold themselves back because they anticipate criticism. But in truth, people rarely scrutinize you as closely as you think. They are occupied with their own insecurities and performances. Your obligation is not to please them. It is to embody your standards, your identity, and your purpose. Authenticity amplifies energy. The energy of the best is consistent, not performative. It doesn't fluctuate with mood. It doesn't rely on validation. It exists independently of external recognition. It is a baseline identity that radiates authority. And the more consistent you are, the less the noise outside can influence your internal state. Daily rituals help reinforce this energy. Align your posture, your breathing, your movement, your attire, and your environment with the person you intend to be. Stand like someone who commands rooms. Speak like someone who demands attention without asking for it. Move like someone who is capable, in control, and unshakable. Presence is a reflection of identity. When you embody this energy, the world begins to respond to it. Doors open, people listen, opportunities align, not because you demand it, but because you consistently project the version of yourself that deserves it. Your presence becomes a declaration of your standards, your discipline, and your vision. Finally, internal dialogue must match your outward energy. Think like someone who belongs. Speak to yourself like someone who is already capable. Reinforce your internal identity with the mantra, "Act as if I am the best," until being the best becomes natural. Every movement, every word, every thought should reinforce this identity. When your internal and external states are aligned, your presence cannot be ignored. You influence without effort. You lead without entitlement. You command respect without aggression. Showing up with the energy of the best is a daily practice, not a one-time performance. It requires self-awareness, intention, and discipline. But once mastered, it becomes your baseline, your default, and it carries into every interaction, every decision, and every challenge, amplifying the impact of your identity. Your presence is your power. Protect it, cultivate it, and wield it consistently. Chapter 5. Cut what weakens. Your confidence. You cannot become the best version of yourself while holding on to what drags you down. Confidence is built as much by subtraction as it is by addition. Most people believe growth is about adding new habits, reading more, or working harder. But real transformation begins with removal. Cutting the people, routines, and thoughts that drain your energy. Holding on to toxic influences while trying to rise is like planting seeds in contaminated soil. Nothing thrives. You cannot grow strong roots in weak ground. Everything you tolerate shapes the version of you that will survive. Start by examining your internal dialogue. What do you say to yourself when no one is listening? Do you criticize yourself more than you encourage yourself? Do you replay old failures and tell yourself they define your potential? Every self-attack erodes confidence. Every repeated negative thought strengthens weakness. Your inner voice either builds your identity or dismantles it, and it does not negotiate. Your rituals must begin with clearing mental clutter. List the negative thoughts that replay like broken records. Challenge them. Replace them with truths. If your mind believes you are small, you will act small. If your mind believes you are strong, you will act strong. Next, evaluate the people around you. Not everyone who claims to care will help you grow. Some people are negative by habit. Others project their fears onto you. Some thrive on your doubts. The moment you start leveling up, these relationships will challenge your progress. Energy is contagious, and negative energy spreads fastest. You must limit access to those who drain you. This doesn't mean you discard everyone. It means you protect your identity. Set boundaries. Choose who can influence your emotions, who can advise you, and who can witness your growth. A strong mind surrounded by weak energy will never thrive. You do not owe anyone your peace. Next, address habits that silently erode your confidence. The small choices you make daily define your identity more than the big moments. Checking your phone first thing in the morning, delaying commitments, or breaking promises to yourself chips away at your self-trust. Each compromise to your standards is a brick removed from your foundation. If you wish to build strength, start by cutting what diminishes it. Create a 7-day audit. List your kill list, habits, patterns, and routines that drain energy or reinforce self-doubt. List your keep list, actions, routines, and rituals that empower and build identity. Then implement the rule. Anything that drains energy gets removed immediately. This is not optional. It is non-negotiable. Your environment also shapes who you become. Physical spaces, digital content, and social interactions all reinforce identity. A cluttered space fosters a cluttered mind. Social media that induces comparison or anxiety erodes confidence. People who constantly focus on negativity shape your perception before you even realize it. Protecting your environment is protecting your future. Another subtle but critical element is self-criticism. Many people mistakenly believe harsh self-talk motivates improvement. It doesn't. It teaches your mind to associate effort with punishment. Replace criticism with constructive dialogue. Speak to yourself as you would speak to someone you are mentoring. Treat your identity with respect. Cutting what weakens you is not comfortable. Old identities will resist. Excuses will arise. Doubt will tempt you to return to what is familiar. This is why courage is essential. Courage allows you to choose the version of yourself you're becoming over the version you used to be. Every cut you make is a declaration to yourself. I will not compromise my future for comfort. By removing what drains you, you create space for growth, energy, and opportunity. Confidence is no longer fragile. Your decisions align with your standards. Your presence becomes noticeable. Your identity begins to radiate strength. Finally, understand the rhythm of growth. Add deliberately. Subtract ruthlessly. Your actions, people, habits, and thoughts must all support the identity you are building. The strongest people in the world constantly prune their lives to reinforce strength. They don't negotiate with energy drains. They remove, protect, and cultivate. And when your confidence is free from erosion, when your environment supports your ambition, and when your mind speaks the language of power, you step into Chapter 6 prepared to own your life fully. Without excuses, without deflection, without surrender. Cut what weakens you, protect what strengthens you, and rise into the strongest version of yourself. Chapter 6. Own your life. No excuses. Your life will not change until you decide to take full ownership of it. Not partially, not occasionally, fully. Excuses are seductive. They feel safe. They protect the ego. They justify inaction. But every excuse you tell yourself secretly erodes identity. It convinces your mind that the world is in control, not you. And a life run by excuses is a life of stagnation. Excuses are the silent killers of potential. Most people blame circumstances for their failures. They wait for the perfect timing. They rely on motivation instead of discipline. They let setbacks define their story, but no one owes you progress. No circumstance guarantees growth. Ownership begins where excuses end. Every action you take must reinforce the person you are becoming. Every choice must reflect the standards you want to hold. Every decision must be a declaration of intent, not convenience. Ownership is not a feeling. It is a daily discipline, and your identity rises in the soil of responsibility. The first step to owning your life is brutal honesty. Ask yourself, where have I made excuses? Where have I surrendered my power? Where have I blamed circumstances instead of acting? Not to shame yourself, but to reclaim the energy that has been misdirected. Without honest reflection, ownership remains theoretical. Responsibility precedes freedom. Once you identify where excuses have taken hold, replace them with concrete actions. Daily ownership sheets are a tool for this transformation. Each day, list the decisions you made, the actions you completed, the mistakes you encountered, the lessons learned. This reflection forces accountability and bridges the gap between intention and identity. When practiced consistently, it rewires your mind to accept no external blame. Small progress compounds into unstoppable momentum. The 1% improvement rule illustrates this. Every day, no matter how small, choose an action that aligns with your standards. Small, consistent steps reshape habits, reinforce discipline, and solidify identity. Motivation may fade, excuses may arise, but the consistent act of ownership creates irreversible growth. Ownership transforms obstacles into strategy. Life will always test your resolve. External pressures, internal fears, and unplanned events will challenge your commitment. The difference between someone who grows and someone who stagnates is the willingness to respond with accountability rather than resentment. Every setback is an opportunity to assert control, not relinquish it. Emotional responsibility is equally important. Your feelings do not dictate your actions. Your identity does. When criticism or pressure arises, do not react impulsively. Act with intention. Respond with strength. Leaders do not wait for the right conditions to take control of their lives. They create conditions. They define their standards. They initiate action. Excuses are irrelevant. Accountability is non-negotiable. This mindset separates the ones who achieve from the ones who wish. Ownership is the foundation of resilience. You will face failures. You will encounter delays. You will experience frustration. Ownership does not eliminate these obstacles. It gives you the framework to navigate them. You learn, adapt, and continue instead of surrendering. You rise even when circumstances are unfavorable. True ownership eliminates victimhood. The victim mindset blames external forces for personal outcomes. It disempowers, stagnates, and confines. You cannot be a hero in your own story while acting like a victim. Ownership is choosing the hero every single day. To internalize this, create daily affirmations that reinforce your role as the architect of your life. Remind yourself, I'm responsible for my choices. I'm accountable for my outcomes. I lead my life. These words shift perception. They replace excuses with intentionality. They transform passive observation into active creation. Every habit you build, every decision you make, every action you take must reflect ownership. Not selectively, not when convenient, but constantly, until identity overrides doubt and accountability becomes instinct. This is how the strongest people maintain progress, even under pressure. The measure of ownership is consistency, not intensity. Chapter 7. Push when you want to quit. The moment you feel like quitting is the exact moment your future is being decided. The difference between those who rise and those who falter is the choice to continue when everything inside screams to stop. Most people give up when the climb gets steep. The results seem invisible, or the effort feels too heavy. They abandon their identity at the first sign of discomfort. But the strongest people understand this. The very moments when your mind whispers, "Stop, this is too hard," are the moments that define the trajectory of your life. These are the moments where your character is forged and your identity is strengthened. Quitting is not a reaction to difficulty. It is a choice. When the world is quiet, when no one is watching, when your energy wanes, your mind will try to convince you that giving up is acceptable. You've done enough, it will say. Tomorrow will be easier. It doesn't matter that much. No one will notice if you quit. Each of these statements is a trap, a subtle attempt to reinforce the weaker version of yourself, the one that plays small, the one that retreats in discomfort, the one that compromises identity for comfort. The paradox is clear. The thing you are most tempted to avoid is exactly what will make you stronger. Strength is not born from convenience. Motivation will not carry you across the hardest terrain. Talent alone does not push you past invisible barriers. What carries you is discipline. What carries you is identity. What carries you is the decision to act even when it is uncomfortable. Every time you push despite fear, doubt, or exhaustion, you strengthen your self-belief. Every time you give in, you reinforce weakness. The most powerful tool in this battle is what I call the one more rule. When your mind begs for relief, when it promises that giving up is acceptable, commit to one more. One more minute, one more rep, one more page, one more call, one more step, one more effort. These small increments are deceptively simple, but their cumulative impact transforms identity. They teach your brain that you are reliable, disciplined, and unstoppable. Most people underestimate the power of one more. It is not the volume of effort, but the consistency in moments of resistance that defines champions. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to decide who you are. Will you let discomfort dictate your identity? Or will you let identity dictate your actions? Those who rise consistently choose the latter. They internalize a principle far stronger than motivation: loyalty to the future over attachment to present comfort. The strongest people rise before they feel ready. Your body will tire, your mind will doubt, your emotions will scream. But these are not reasons to stop. They are signals that you are growing beyond previous limits. Resistance is the proving ground of character. The discomfort you feel is a measurement of your capacity expanding. And every step you take in defiance of quitting rewires your nervous system, forging resilience that lasts far longer than any temporary ease. Discomfort is the currency of identity. To harness this, create structured challenges that train your commitment. Identify a gatekeeper moment each day, the action that your weaker self resists most. Confront it deliberately. Push past the initial resistance. Reward yourself for completing it, not with indulgence, but with acknowledgement of your discipline. These moments compound, layering strength, confidence, and self-trust. The people who quit allow temporary emotions to dictate their behavior. The people who rise allow principles to dictate theirs. Quitting is seductive because it promises relief. It promises the comfort of familiarity. It shields you from the unknown. But comfort is a cage. It protects your current identity while stunting the one you could become. Every time you surrender, you are choosing the security of mediocrity over the uncertainty of growth. Every time you push, you are choosing expansion over stagnation. Your future self will thank you for every choice to continue. The psychology of persistence is deceptively simple. Your mind will always prefer the path of least resistance. Evolution designed humans to conserve energy. But the strongest identities are built by overriding default instincts in favor of deliberate choice. To be great, you must train your brain to act despite fear, fatigue, or uncertainty. You must create a pattern where resistance becomes the signal to act, not the signal to retreat. Visualization can amplify this effect. Picture the stronger version of yourself waiting at the top of the climb. See the rewards, see the impact, see the identity you are creating through persistence. Every push, every rep, every effort aligns you with that future self. Identity becomes tangible, and quitting loses its appeal. The battle is not with the outside world, it is within you. Every excuse, every hesitation, every thought of giving up is the echo of a former self. Your current self must confront and surpass these echoes daily. These internal battles are where the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is determined. One day, you will look back and realize that the moments you thought you could not continue were exactly the moments that defined your destiny. Energy, attention, and intention converge in these moments. To strengthen yourself, you must push deliberately. Choose effort when the body resists. Choose clarity when the mind wavers. Choose purpose when emotion clouds. Judgment. Consistency under pressure is the essence of mastery. It is how the strongest people in the world cement their identity into reality. Loyalty to your future outweighs loyalty to your comfort. Remember, success is not built on fleeting moments of inspiration. Success is built on repeated decisions to show up, act, and continue. These are the bricks that form the foundation of a resilient identity. Motivation comes and goes, but identity persists. Discipline persists. Choice persists. On the days you feel like quitting, speak to yourself with authority. I will not quit on me. I will rise again and again. Make it your mantra. Let it echo in your mind during fatigue. Let it guide you through frustration. Let it carry you past moments of fear. The strongest version of yourself emerges in these moments. Quiet, unshakable, relentless. Chapter 8. Trust the process. When results are invisible. The results you want will not appear instantly, but the identity you're building will. This is the hardest part of growth, the invisible season. The season where you're doing everything right, yet nothing seems to change. The season where your effort is high, but your progress feels non-existent. The season where you question whether you're wasting your time. This is the moment that breaks most people, not because they can't grow, but because they can't wait. People don't quit because it's hard. They quit because they can't see progress soon enough. But here's the truth you must anchor into your identity. The most powerful changes happen long before the world can see them. The roots grow before the tree rises. The foundation forms before the building stands. The character develops before the success arrives. You're growing even when the results are silent. The human mind craves evidence. It wants proof. It wants reassurance. It wants quick feedback. But greatness doesn't grow on your timeline. It grows on your discipline. It grows on your habits. It grows on your willingness to show up even when your emotions say there's no point. Your consistency is planting seeds you cannot see yet. When you don't see progress, it's easy to assume nothing is happening. But that's not true. Invisible progress is still progress. It's mental conditioning. It's emotional strengthening. It's identity building. It's you evolving into someone who eventually becomes unstoppable. The process is working long before the results appear. You must learn to stay loyal even when the scoreboard is empty. This is where most people sabotage their future. When results don't appear fast, they switch methods. They switch goals. They switch plans. They switch lanes. They keep restarting. They keep resetting. They keep abandoning their momentum, and because they restart so often, they never build deep roots. If you restart every time you feel uncertain, you'll never experience the power of compounding. Compounding is not just financial. Compounding happens in discipline. Compounding happens in self-belief. Compounding happens in mindset. Compounding happens in identity. Consistency compounds, but only if you stay long enough for it to activate. Trusting the process means trusting yourself. It means believing that your effort is not wasted. It means believing that your future is unfolding even when the present looks quiet. It means believing something powerful is happening beneath the surface. The process is shaping you in ways that results cannot. The work you do when no one notices is the work that prepares you for the moment everyone does. These invisible seasons build patience, they build resilience, they build perspective, they build the internal strength required to sustain success once it arrives. Success without identity collapses. Identity without success eventually rises. This chapter is about strengthening the second one. One powerful method is the identity log. Instead of tracking external results, which are slow, track internal decisions. Track what you did even when you didn't feel like doing it. Track how you handled pressure. Track how you kept your promises. Track how you pushed through your resistance. Measure your decisions, not your dopamine. Progress you can see is temporary. Progress you cannot see is foundational. You must also learn to detach your emotional state from your scoreboard. Results are inconsistent, unpredictable, non-linear. But your effort can be consistent. Your discipline can be predictable. Your standards can be linear even when your growth is not. People who only act when they're winning never win long enough. People who only act when they're motivated never grow deep enough. Trust is a discipline, not an emotion. There will be days when doubt floods in, days where you question your path, days where your old identity whispers, "This isn't working." These days are not signs to stop. They are signs to continue. They are signs that you're building a version of yourself who is no longer dependent on instant reward. Delayed rewards create powerful people. Instant rewards create fragile ones. Trusting the process also means honoring the boring parts. Repetition is not a punishment. Repetition is mastery. Repetition is how the mind rewires, how confidence grows, how identity solidifies. The best performers in the world don't avoid repetition. They embrace it. They understand that consistency beats intensity. They understand that small progress becomes big progress over time. They understand that the person who shows up every day will always outperform the person who shows up only when motivated. Your future is being built by the days that feel ordinary. The invisible season also demands emotional neutrality. Not every day will be exciting. Not every day will feel triumphant. Some days will feel pointless. Some days will feel heavy. Some days will feel like you're walking in circles. But here's the truth. You are not walking in circles. You are walking in cycles. Cycles of improvement. Cycles of identity strengthening. Cycles that slowly move you upward even when the path feels flat. Success is almost always uphill, but you don't climb it in leaps. You climb it in steps. Another key to trusting the process is reducing your timeline. When your timeline is too fast, everything feels like failure. When your timeline expands, everything becomes progress. You're not behind, you are becoming. You are building a life you've never lived before. It will take time. Stop comparing your day 1 to someone's year 10. Stop expecting instant mastery. Stop rushing your transformation. You don't plant a seed and yell at it for not being a tree tomorrow. You are becoming someone extraordinary. Let the becoming take time. One final truth, trusting the process is not passive. It's not sitting back and hoping. It's showing up with intention every day. Even when the payoff is invisible. It's honoring your habits even when they don't feel rewarding. It's choosing discipline even when you crave certainty. Trusting the process is active faith, not blind faith, earned faith. Faith built from your actions, faith built from your consistency, faith built from your commitment. The results will arrive. They always do, but only for the person who stayed long enough to receive them. Chapter 9. Lock into your vision until it becomes reality. Your vision is sacred. Your future depends entirely on your ability to protect it, nurture it, and act on it relentlessly. Most people fail, not because they lack talent, knowledge, or opportunity, but because they are inconsistent with their vision. They have dreams, goals, or ambitions, yet allow distraction, doubt, and delay to pull them off course. Your vision is not just an idea. It is a blueprint for the life you are building. It is the mental and emotional architecture of who you will become. Without unwavering commitment to that blueprint, no amount of effort, motivation, or skill will produce lasting results. Loyalty to your vision is more important than talent, luck, or circumstances. The first obstacle you will face in locking into your vision is distraction. The world constantly demands your attention. Social media inundates you with comparison, judgment, and irrelevant updates. Friends, colleagues, and even family can inadvertently pressure you to conform to their limited thinking. Random urgencies appear as if they are critical, pulling your focus away from your priorities. Without deliberate focus, your vision will erode. Distraction is subtle. It does not announce itself. It infiltrates, rearranges your attention, and gradually alters your identity. If you allow noise to dominate your mind, your future will be defined by it. You must create a mental and physical environment that aligns with your vision. A vision board is more than a visual reminder. It is a ritual. Divide it into 4 sections: why, who, what, and daily 3. Why? The emotional anchor behind your commitment. The reason you refuse to compromise, the purpose that fuels you even in difficult moments. Who? The identity you must embody. posture, mindset, discipline, resilience, and confidence. What? Concrete, measurable goals that transform abstract vision into actionable steps. Daily 3. 3 non-negotiable actions that must be performed daily to keep your identity aligned with the vision. Visit this board every morning. Engage with it actively. Feel it. Internalize it. In the chaos of the external world, your vision board becomes an anchor, a constant reminder of who you are becoming and why it matters. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is permanent. Loyalty to your vision does not require constant excitement. It requires commitment through discomfort, fatigue, and monotony. The people who succeed are not those who feel inspired every day. They are those who act consistently regardless of inspiration. Commitment outlasts emotion. Alignment outlasts opinion. Loyalty to your vision is tested when the process is invisible, when results are slow, and when doubt creeps in. The invisible season determines the visible outcome. You must implement a social diet. Surround yourself with people and information that align with your future and reduce exposure to anything that drains your energy or limits your perspective. Some close friends may unconsciously resist your growth because your potential challenges their comfort zone. Certain colleagues, news, or online communities may introduce doubt and distraction. Protecting your mental environment is essential. The energy you absorb daily shapes your decisions, habits, and ultimately, your identity. Your environment either compounds your vision or dilutes it. Another critical element is eliminating secondary projects and obligations that do not serve your vision. Every additional commitment fragments focus, divides energy, and slows progress. The world constantly tempts you with immediate gratification disguised as opportunity. The strongest people evaluate every request against their identity and goals. If it does not serve the person they are becoming, it must be refused, delayed, or delegated. Alignment is non-negotiable. You cannot chase 2 futures at once. Focus is your power multiplier. The mind will also challenge you internally. Doubt, fear, and anxiety will emerge. Your old identity will whisper that the dream is impossible. Fear will argue that comfort is safer. Discomfort will pressure you to pause, to compromise, to shrink back into familiarity. These internal tests are designed to reveal whether your identity has truly shifted. Those who quit at this point remain trapped in their past self. Those who persist build unshakable identity. Internal resistance is the most honest measure of commitment. Visualization amplifies loyalty to your vision. Spend time daily imagining your future self. Do not fantasize. Rehearse. Visualize your posture, confidence, decisions, and habits. Imagine the challenges overcome, the effort maintained, and the identity fully embodied. The mind begins to treat the rehearsal as reality. Repetition strengthens the neurological pathways that guide consistent action. You become what your mind rehearses repeatedly. Trust the process. Results will lag behind effort. Growth compounds invisibly. Discipline produces invisible change before external recognition appears. What is unseen is shaping your life more profoundly than what is visible. 1 week of consistent action might seem inconsequential, but compounded over months, it creates unshakable foundations. Patience is not passive. It is deliberate, active faith in the system of your identity. Invisible effort is the scaffolding of visible success. Implement daily metrics for alignment, focus, discipline, and attitude. Do not measure progress solely by outcomes, applause, or external validation. Measure the consistency of your action. Measure adherence to your standards. Reward yourself for integrity of action, not for visible wins. This trains your nervous system to respond to identity, not emotion, ensuring that your habits align with your vision even when circumstances are challenging. Chapter 10. Rise again. Every time you fall. Falling is inevitable. Staying down is a choice. Your future is defined not by your failures, but by your response to them. Every person striving for greatness will face moments of collapse, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. There will be days when nothing seems to work, when energy drains faster than it returns, when mistakes feel monumental, and when the world appears stacked against you. Every failure, every disappointment, every misstep is inevitable. But the strongest people know the secret. The fall is not the end. The end occurs only when you refuse to rise again. Resilience is not a trait you are born with. It is cultivated. Most people believe that strength is the absence of failure. They envy the person who seems unshakable, unbroken, untouchable. But the reality is different. The strongest people are not those who never stumble. They are the ones who rise repeatedly, without hesitation, without excuses, without apology. The fall becomes a catalyst rather than a cage. Falling is feedback. Rising is the discipline of champions. When you fall, your internal dialogue is crucial. Many allow self-criticism, shame, and regret to fester. I'm not good enough. I failed again. I should have done better. These thoughts are the traps that keep people down. The strongest people recognize that these voices are noise, not truth. They separate facts from interpretation. They acknowledge failure without surrendering identity. They confront mistakes, learn the lesson, and choose to continue. Every fall carries information. Your job is to extract the lesson, not dwell on the pain. A practical way to approach falling is through the 24-hour reset protocol. Debrief, rest, reset, return. Debrief, analyze the failure objectively. What happened? What triggered it? Where could you have acted differently? Record the insights without emotional judgment. Rest, allow your body and mind to recover. Fatigue and stress cloud judgment. Controlled rest restores perspective. Reset, release emotional baggage. Guilt, regret, and shame do not improve performance. Accountability and insight do. Return, re-engage with focus, renewed energy, and clarity. Implement the lessons learned. Take deliberate action immediately, even if it is small, to rebuild momentum. Resetting is not a weakness. It is strategic power. There will be moments when repeated failures tempt you to give up entirely. The mind may whisper that persistence is futile. The heart may feel exhausted. Motivation may collapse. But identity does not rely on feeling. Identity relies on choice. The decision to rise, again and again, strengthens the nervous system, builds self-trust, and reinforces the pattern of resilience. The strongest person is the one who continues to rise no matter how many times they fall. Consider the psychology of repetition. Each time you rise after failure, your brain records an automatic pattern. Effort over emotion, action over doubt, loyalty to identity over comfort. Neural pathways strengthen, habits solidify, resilience becomes habitual. This is why the visible results of persistence often appear after repeated invisible practice. Success is not instantaneous, it is cumulative. You must also prepare for external perceptions. Others may misunderstand, doubt, or even ridicule your efforts. Falling publicly can attract judgment, misunderstanding, or even discouragement. The weak internalize these judgments and fold. The strong internalize the lessons and use them to strengthen their resolve. External opinions are irrelevant when your internal compass is unwavering. Your identity is the only validation you need. Another critical element of rising after failure is the practice of deliberate reflection. Every evening, review your actions, decisions, and results. Identify moments where you faltered. Recognize moments where you showed strength. Celebrate small wins and analyze small mistakes. Reflection is the mechanism that transforms experience into wisdom. It ensures that each fall produces tangible growth rather than mere frustration. Wisdom emerges from repeated reflection and intentional correction. Discipline is essential during recovery. Recovery without action leads to stagnation. Rest without reflection wastes the lesson. Analysis without implementation is intellectual, but not transformative. You must combine insight with action. You must confront discomfort directly. You must recommit to the daily routines that produce your desired outcomes. The strongest people rise precisely because they refuse to let failure interrupt their momentum. Momentum after failure is more powerful than momentum before it. Resilience also requires managing your emotional state. After a fall, the mind will attempt to exaggerate failure. Fear, shame, and doubt can create emotional storms that feel insurmountable. But strong people do not allow emotions to dictate action. They cultivate emotional regulation. Deep breathing, controlled focus, visualization of future success, and affirmation of identity. This transforms emotional energy into actionable power. Emotions are fuel. Control them. Do not let them control you. You must internalize a personal mantra to anchor your recovery. I rise. I learn. I grow. I persist. I am unstoppable. Repeat this mantra daily, particularly during moments of doubt or fatigue. Let it rewire your subconscious. Let it remind you that failure is temporary. Let it reinforce your loyalty to identity over circumstance. Every repetition strengthens neural pathways associated with resilience and perseverance. The cycle of fall and rise strengthens character beyond what comfort ever could. Consider historical examples, people who endured repeated failure before monumental success, entrepreneurs who faced bankruptcy before innovation, athletes who suffered career-threatening injuries before a championship performance, inventors who experienced countless rejections before breakthroughs. What all of them share is not talent alone. It is repeated commitment to rising after each fall. The pattern is clear. Rise again and again until your identity overrides failure. To make this practical, adopt daily routines that reinforce rising. Set micro goals for recovery after setbacks. Schedule intentional reflection and planning sessions. Reinforce self-talk that emphasizes progress over perfection. Maintain physical routines that energize rather than drain. Surround yourself with people who elevate and do not diminish your resolve. Each of these practices compounds resilience. They train your nervous system, reinforce your identity, and make your response to future failures increasingly automatic. You have traveled through 10 chapters of transformation, and the lessons are clear. Identity comes first, action follows, and consistency is your true power. Every principle you've learned, building strength, silencing noise, believing in yourself, showing up with energy, cutting what weakens you, owning your life, pushing past resistance, trusting in visible progress, locking into vision, and rising after every fall, is designed to reconstruct your mindset and elevate your daily choices. The strongest people are not defined by luck, talent, or circumstance. They are defined by decisions made repeatedly when no one is watching. They act with discipline, maintain their standards, and rise through adversity. The invisible work, the quiet rituals, the consistent choices, these are the foundations of unshakable confidence and unstoppable progress. Now it is your turn. Take ownership of the lessons. Integrate them into your life. Show up each day with intention. Protect your mind, align your actions with your vision, and refuse to compromise your identity for temporary comfort. Each time you push through fear, doubt, or fatigue, you reinforce the version of yourself capable of achieving extraordinary results. Remember, strength is built, not given. Confidence is earned, not borrowed. Success is the outcome of consistent, identity-based action.